afternoon, everyone. My name is Sharatchan Bhaskara, and today I would like to talk about the integration of microfocus ALM and Tricentis Tosca. Before we get into the details of this integration, let's try and understand what are the problems we are trying to solve. Today, the software delivery pipelines are continuously evolving. We have new technologies in place, we have new policies in place, we have new process in place to fit to our agile testing and delivery pipelines. Because of all these new changes that are continuously coming into the software delivery, reliability and quality of our software is paramount. And we have our existing tool sets. Whenever we go down the road of digital transformation, we are trying to rip and replace the existing tools, which is causing a lot of data issues. And the knowledge that we have accumulated over a period of time, we are looking for ways to migrate them over to the new toolsets. ConnectALL's value stream management platform can help solve this problem by synchronizing your data seamlessly. As you can see here, ConnectALL has very deep integration between Microfocus ALM and Tricentis Tosca. We can synchronize issues, requirements, requirement sets, test cases, execution lists, test sets, and the runs seamlessly across these two applications. Having this said, let's go and have a look at the ConnectALL application and see how we can set up these integrations for it to work so seamlessly. As you can see in my visualizer, drawing and building integrations is simple as dragging an icon onto the canvas, choosing the connection or the application that I'm trying to integrate with, and drawing the lines between them to build the integrations. Instead of building a brand new integration today, let's have a look at the existing integrations that we have defined so far. Let's say, for example, the requirement set integration. So in this case, I'm saying all the requirements in Microfocus ALM of type 4, which is business requirements, should be synchronized as requirement sets, and all the requirements of type 3, that is the functional requirements, should be synchronized as requirements, right? So this will help me retain the hierarchy of my ALM into my Tosca. Without further ado, let's go ahead and build a few requirement sets and requirements to see how the data is transferred over to Tosca. First, I'm going to build a new requirement set. Call it authentication and authorization using IDPs, external IDPs. Under this requirement set, now I'm going to define a couple of functional requirements. Authenticate using ping federate, and another requirement that says authenticate using author. Right? So now that I have this hierarchy in my ALM, let's synchronize these artifacts into Tosca and see how they look. Let's go to dashboard, look for the requirement set. Instead of waiting for the schedule, let's go and force the synchronization for now. So my requirement set has synchronized, right? And we'll also synchronize the requirements. As you can see here, as the data is being transferred from one system to another, you can clearly see the activity history in the ConnectALL dashboard, along with your visualizer and the value streams. As we wait for the requirement to get synchronized over to Tosca, let's go ahead and build a couple of test cases that are going to test this particular requirement. Going into the test plan module, I'm going to create a new test that says test ping federate authentication. Right. So let's also synchronize this test into Tosca. And now, while we wait for the test to synchronize, we will go ahead and add this particular test to our daily integration test set. Test ping for red authentication. We have added into our test set. And let's say we want to also build a new test set for weekly integration tests. Let's go ahead and build a new test set. Weekly integration tests. And in that test set, let's add the Google auth and the ping for red auth tests. Right? So now we have a test set that is created and a test instance that is created added to that test set. So when it gets synchronized over to Tosca, we would see an execution list and a couple of execution entries under the weekly integration tests and the daily integration tests. Let's go ahead and synchronize this data. Let's synchronize the execution list first. To synchronize the test set, it appears that test case and the requirements have already got synchronized. We'll go into Tosca and we'll have a look at it. We're going to the requirements module, refresh our requirements, and here you can see authentication and authorization using external IDP requirement set and the two requirements that we just created in ALM. Right? And similarly, when we go to tests, we have our new test ping for rate authentication, synchronized over to Tosca. Right? And in the executions, we have our execution entry created. In our executions, in the daily integration tests, we should have a test ping for rate authentication, right? So in Tosca, let's go ahead and run this test and get the results published back onto Yellow. So I'm going to check out this execution list. Run this test. say passed, and check it in. And after some time, I'll also run in the next iteration. I'm running the test again with the status as failed. And I'm going to run another iteration with the result as passed. Now that you can see that there are 3 iterations for this particular test instance, I have to synchronize these 3 test runs back into ALM for reporting purposes. Let's go and synchronize this data and see what happens. As you can see here, our test runs have got synchronized now into ALM. Now let's go into ALM and have a look at the test runs. You can see that we have run this test ping for rate test 3 times, and you're also getting the results as passed, failed, and you can also see the same results on your test instances for traceability. Similarly, we can create execution list folders, defects, and other artifacts and synchronize them seamlessly using ConnectALL. Thanks a lot for watching this webinar. It's a pleasure talking to you about the integration between Micro Focus ALM and Tosca using ConnectALL's value stream management platform. Have a good one. Bye.